David Cronenberg's horror film Videodrome is renowned by its admirers for its social commentary and meta-commentary values of how human society interacts with screen technology and the entertainment media. Sometimes to the point of obsession and overindulgence, but also to the point of this relationship becoming integral to the human condition on multiple levels. This is more widely seen today in the age of the internet, social media, video games, and virtual reality technology. I have seen plenty of studies exploring this contextual point, but from what I can see, there is not much effort to explore the symbolic details in the visuals, and especially not much has been explored on the movie's psychological themes that go beyond this. Well, be so glad you came to see me. I've been through it all myself, you see. This video is intended to offer you some new thoughts and observations of this classic, most of which I haven't heard discussed about anywhere. There are loads and loads of interesting details with fascinating implications in this movie, but here I'm going to offer you 28 observations which will serve to get you started in thinking more about this classic. Okay, let's go through in chronological order. Number 1. Right from the very beginning, we are shown images on full screen that are defined with a scanline filter, including the title for the Videodrome movie tape we are watching. The meta-commentary subtext immediately established. This kind of filter and television distortion effects is shown in full screen in a few other scenes, done briefly to be easily mistaken as distortions shown on other television sets. Number 2, the Pacific TV channel logo starts with a rainbow of colours. Rainbows and variations of depicting the whole colour spectrum are present in a few instances. After all, rainbows are visions but only illusions. Then we have a cartoonist design of a man resting in bed with a teddy bear and a TV set suspiciously on his pelvic area. As a side note, it could relate to the real-life City TV, which Cronenberg based his fictional Civic TV version on, specifically their brand of baby blue movies. I think I heard Cronenberg say that in his DVD commentary. Number 3, the movie begins with Max waking up at the start of this movie, very much a parallel to this introduction to the Samurai's Dreams tape. This is also noted by film historian Tim Lucas, who himself hangs around on set of Videodrome and conversed with Cronenberg. Number 4, this is a very sneaky one. When Max and his partners are watching a tape of Samurai Dreams, this camera shot pans towards the characters in the boardroom at the same moment the camera shot in the Samurai Dreams tape is zooming in, specifically creating the illusion that the separate reality of a TV set shares the same spatial dimensions in this shot. Very subliminal. Remember, this is before Max is exposed to the Videodrome tapes for the first time in this story, and he sat right over there. Again, Videodrome is just a movie. Number 5, in the first Videodrome transmission tape shown to Max, this poor woman is subject to being wet before she is placed on this back wall, which is described to be electrified. The TV set itself runs on electricity, by the way. Her sensations of electrocution and the visual display of water splashing about at the bottom appropriately accompanies the television static and distortion. Number 6, again the movie plays with its sense of reality and visual perception. Here, Oblivion is shown looking to the right, which in this scene is where Max and Nikki are. And when talking to the interviewer on the left, from this camera angle, he specifically looks to the left towards the interviewer 2 times here, looking eye to eye in this visual composition. From this woman's point of view, she would not think Oblivion is actually looking at her. In order for him to make eye contact, he would have to stare right at the camera, like he does here. Oblivion is clearly reacting to the speeches of other characters. Remember that Bianca says that Oblivion was already dead nearly a year before the story's events. This shot is clearly designed for our own viewpoint. Yes, Videodrome intends to cause hallucinations for any viewers watching this, including us. Also note that this scene opens with this shot. Number 7, the movie has scattered these visual props suggesting the archetypal and perhaps artificial nature of a Nikki Brand character, which Cronenberg in his DVD commentary admitted was named after her habits of self-harming herself by different means seen in the movie. Number 8, in Nikki's next scene, we see her looking quite exhausted in her workout gear by just having a conversation with a caller. And she certainly looks quite annoyed here.
I've got your number, haven't I? sister. I don't want to. It's ripping me up inside. But I do. I do.
Will you call our distress center? Will you call the CRAM Distress Center? They'll tell you where to get help, lover.
If this scene is to go by, I think Nikki wouldn't be wrong for committing to a relationship and all of the emotional tensions and hang-ups that can happen between partners. So at no point do Max or Nikki express intentions of being committed romantic partners instead of just being only sexual partners. Number 9, this is specifically in a deleted scene of Max's office. Have any of you ever been to a corporate office with a noose hanging around? I don't know if this is meant to be a joke from Max or an expression of Max's sadistic urges. At this point, we are given better viewpoints of Max's apartment with all of the props present. There's a lot of revealing details relating to Max's psychological descent, and this is a constructed set, by the way. First up, number 10, we are shown this gigantic poster that seems to only depict pixelated TV static. Talk about displaying it for all to see. Number 11, there are 2 notable poster props which carry conspiratorial connotations. This one shows an astronaut on the moon holding a picture of a moon with an exposed fingernail visible. And this one shows a ballerina with Hitler's face trying to hypnotize a guy. This, I believe, relates to the notion of the Videodrome technology as having a dangerous form of philosophy, a dangerous influence on its viewers.
It's more, how can I say, more political than that. Because it has something that you don't have, Max. It has a philosophy. And that is what makes it dangerous.
Number 12, Max has some very symbolic and quite bizarre props in his apartment. This one, which features a man and a woman inside a picture frame within the photo, very much reminds me of Nikki appearing on Max's TV set from here on. Next up, unlocking number 13, as Max strolls by towards a cavalry mission to meet with Bianca Oblivion, he briefly passes by a prominent poster of the old famous movie Metropolis. In that movie, a robot was created that can disguise itself as a seductive woman for manipulating its onlookers to commit violence for the purposes of its creator. This kind of background stuff is scattered throughout the movie, so the next time you're watching this movie, maybe grab a 4K copy if you like, pay attention to how the background props symbolically mirror Max's journey. Moving on, number 14, it's worth mentioning at this point of the electronic score, which blurs the line between sounding electronic and organic. Particularly relevant to the religious themes of a story, the score especially sounds like it's coming from an organ. Organ as in a church organ. Number 15, inside the cavalry mission, dozens of people sit and watch TV as part of the Oblivion's intentions to enlighten them in some way. However, the TV sets have their channel dials taken out and sellotaped, preventing the people here from making their own decisions of what they want to watch. Consider this moment from a deleted scene which puts this point under question.
Can I watch Channel 83?
You care what you watch?
And this piece of dialogue here from Bianca doesn't really sound caring, does it?
You look like them. Like one of Father's derelicts.
I think it's a style that's coming back.
In their case, Mr. Wren, it's not a style. It's a disease forced on them by their lack of access to the cathode ray tube.
Number 16. The Videodrome set is dominated with red and black colours. Typically it has red walls. Although I heard some cast and crew members say this set was actually orange coloured. But the marketing of the film shows that the walls were seen as coloured red. The red and black colour combinations make little presence elsewhere in the movie, and I don't think these parallels are happy accidents, because the biggest red flag of this being deliberate is in this deleted scene. See how these furnishings compare with a Videodrome set? And look how red that lamp is, maintaining colour continuity with a red wall. Number 17, we're going to get really psychoanalytical here. In this scene, Bridie James, who is Max's secretary and is actually quite besotted with him, she visits Max to deliver a morning cassette tape for the next day in a motherly fashion. When Bridie picks up a Videodrome cassette tape, Max does this.
Take it now.
Don't touch that!
Jesus, Max, you scared me.
Are you all right? Bridie, I didn't mean to hit you.
Hit me? You didn't hit me.
No, I know I didn't hit you. I mean...
On the surface plot level, this is Max starting to have his reality slip, but if Max previously had a relationship with Bridie or has a sexual attraction towards her not fulfilled, it was never made clear.
It's soft. Something too soft about it. I'm looking for something that'll break through, you know, something tough.
Is this little moment a revelation of Max subconsciously wanting to sleep with her and to be carnal about it, but he couldn't bring himself to do so because he does like her as a person on an emotional level?
No, I'm not a dream. Although I've been told I'm a vision of loveliness. I'm nothing less than your faithful girl, Bridie James.
Now here is what I believe is going on here. Max can't be carnal with Bridie, or at least be stuck in a relationship with her. So he instead goes to Nikki the kinky sex symbol, who herself comes and goes. And the Videodrome porn tapes, torture tapes, which is completely devoid of emotional intimacy.
It's just torture and murder. No plot, no characters. Very, very realistic.
All of this is very much in line with what Freud calls the Madonna whore complex, the idea that men have trouble merging together their affectionate and sexually carnal feelings towards women they love. And yes, I am mentioning Freud's theories because this movie has already mentioned him.
You know what Freud would have said about that dress.
And he would have been right. I admit it. I live in a highly excited state of overstimulation.
Okay, that was a long-winded one, but I thought it is really interesting. Next up then, number 18, skipping ahead a couple of scenes, there is a crucifixion prop that is ominously framed behind Max's head here. A pretty bad omen. Number 19, we get to Barry Convex's glasses shop. Max wears this piece of glasses with an unusual shape, which is suspiciously familiar. Note that Barry Convex refers to this piece of glasses with an unusual keyword.
I think that machinery you're wearing is too much for the shape of your face. Overwhelms you. Try something more spidery, more delicate.
Here she is. This is our prototype. This is the little number that started it all.
Number 20, this is another psychoanalytical point. Max is seen ripping Marcia in a surrealist fashion, and in the very next scene, which jumps straight to Max waking up, she turns up dead right in his bed. It is left to our imagination of whether Max actually killed her, and maybe even Nikki, being that Marcia wore her clothes. If this is true, then the narrative of her body appearing and disappearing is an expression of internal conflict within Max the protagonist, who wants to admit murder has taken place, but also wants to deny it because that would make him a likely suspect of being the murderer.
Why would anybody watch a scum show like Videodrome? Why did you watch it, Max?
Business reasons.
Sure. Sure. What about the other reasons? Why deny you get your kicks out of watching torture and murder?
You murdered Brian Oblivion, didn't you, you freak? Did you enjoy that?
Number 21, in the same scene where Max's sanity has really started to slip, the apartment is dominated with Venetian blind shadows which go across characters' faces. Much like these shots with the scanline filters on TV screens and in full screen. That's right, I'm convinced of this comparison. This is a constructed set, and look at this poster prop scene on the right here. Very briefly shown in 2 seconds of the entire movie. There is also this bird cage prop with no bird in it, only a humanoid figure trapped within its stripy horizontal bars. As stripy as the television sets and as stripy as the Venetian blinds. Max is trapped in his television fantasy world. Number 22, tying in with an earlier point of a Videodrome set's colour scheme, the Videodrome tapes are associated with warm lighting here. The warm lighting is delicately used later in this scene where Max reaches tipping point of his sanity. The warm lighting was not there in the previous scene set in the same location.
I've got to be hallucinating now, right? I mean, you two can't possibly be for real.
At the ending of the movie, Nikki with a ghostly aura is shown underneath warm lighting. She's a strawberry blondie. Number 23, see this bookcase? It looks like it's full of books, but look at it from this angle. It's almost as two-dimensional as this movie. Number 24, I already picked up on this, but Tim Lucas himself mentioned that as well in his DVD commentary, so I'm not the only person saying this. Max is escaping from his crime scene, and he nearly walks into this doorframe with a curious resemblance to a television set. Number 25, Max attempts to hunt down Bianca in a cafe raid mission. As Max approaches Bianca for the kill here, he does something unnecessary. He tears through a flash color screen when he could just shoot through it, or even move it on its wheels. No, Max wanted to do something nasty to Bianca. Probably what was done to Nikki right here. Number 26, Tim Lucas said in his commentary that Cronenberg intended the misquoting of a public figure made by Barry Convex in his trade show. Apparently, the public figure who Barry Convex is citing has never said these following quotes at all.
It's based on two quotes from the famous Renaissance statesman and patron of the arts, Lorenzo de Medici. Love comes in at the eye, and the eye is the window of the soul.
A deliberate sign of falsity. In case you didn't know, some fans already know this, Barry Convex was based on Tim Backer, a televangelist with a history of fraud and corruption. Number 27, we now come to the very final moment of the movie. Two great pieces of subliminals here. First, Max looks into a bonfire and positions himself in front of it. In this visual composition, he is transforming like a burning phoenix. Either that, or he's burning in his own version of hell. And number 28, this one took me by surprise when I was analysing this movie. These ending shots depicting Max's suicide may look the same, but there is one key discrepancy between these shots. Have a look for yourself.
Long live the new flesh. Long live the new flesh.
Thanks for watching. You have been listening to Movie Archaeologist. Of course, that's not my real name, that's my YouTube name. Soon we will all have special names on the internet that will cause our LCD computer screens to resonate. Like LSD. Physics become philosophy, and philosophy becomes flesh. See you in Pittsburgh.